How you guys doing? This is Shawni and DJ.
Hey guys.
She's taking the lead in this one.
I guess. But I didn't know that.
No. I just decided to switch it up because I'm just being crazy because it's late. And when it's late, I start acting crazy. All right. So this is going to be a discussion about cancel culture and just things that have been happening recently. There's been some celebrities that have come out and said different things. So I just want to throw my 2 cents in there. We're going to start out with my boy Charles Barkley, who has always said whatever the hell he felt like saying. And that's why my grandma likes him so much.
That's funny.
He's one of her favorite players. Anyway, so Charles Barkley was on this radio show, WJFK 1067. And Barkley basically started talking about, you can't have fun on the set and things of that nature because of cancel culture. So I'll read you some of the quotes. He said, "It's gotten out of hand right now. I couldn't imagine having to watch myself. You can't even have fun nowadays about these jackasses trying to get you canceled and things like that." And then he says, as a result, the 58-year-old Philadelphia and Phoenix star will be out of the door in 2 years. And he just says, "I'm just having fun talking about sports, trying to just hang on for another couple of years until I'm 60. And then he gets fast. "I'm only working until 60. I already told him that. We can't even have fun anymore. We've had fun all these years, and now all of a sudden in the last year and a half, everybody's trying to get everybody fired, and it really sucks." Go down. "All we ever talk about behind the scenes now is, yo, man, be careful going in this direction. We can't have fun anymore. We've had fun all these years." And yeah. And then he says, "A lot of our bosses are cowards." And he's citing specifically a decade-old joke. When this came back up, I thought this was hilarious. It's a joke about San Antonio women where he called them big old women, and that she eats up on them churros.
Damn.
Them churros. They don't even let me talk about San Antonio anymore. When I'm always talking about them big old women down in San Antonio, he referred to the city as baseline bums. Diehard regulars taunted him. So basically, if you don't know United in Sports, basically he got taunted a lot by San Antonio fans in his sports career. So he likes to take shots at San Antonio when he can. So yeah, then he said, "I didn't call anybody personally fat in San Antonio. I was joking around." And one lady wrote this article, "You're going to let one lady cancel the joke? We've been having fun with this for 10 to 15 years.
One thing Charles Barkley is going to do is tell you exactly where you can put your feelings. Tell you exactly where he feels that you can put your feelings, because I just don't know why people are so damn sensitive. I don't know why they're so damn sensitive. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's a joke. Charles Barkley has never been one to be the guy who's all like, ooh, I care about your feelings. Charles Barkley don't give a damn about your feelings.
Charles Barkley actually doesn't care. So
Does not care.
This is the clip. I'm going to play part of it.
So weird to see them sit so close now. See them sit so close back
that
then.
last report.
Yeah.
She knows the story when she sees it. Because obviously, when the truckster goes off on these now familiar rants about the city of San Antonio and its inhabitants, he ruffles some feathers over.
Oh, really?
Like my Twitter blows up, doesn't yours? About what Chuck says about San Antonio.
Man, you gotta have a sense of humor.
I know people, and we've heard it before, so we just kind of laugh it off. But Jamie took to the streets.
Oh wow! Local reaction. Some big old women down there.
Why would you say that?
That's a gold mine for Weight Watchers.
Yes, Spandex is San Antonio.
No. And Victoria definitely a secret.
Oh, man.
They ain't wearing no Victoria's Secret down there. It's a secret. Go Bloomers down there, and they're not wearing no.
In the event that San Antonio goes,
Ain't nothing skimpy down in San Antonio, Chad. First of all, I've never said they didn't have good-looking women in San Antonio.
Yes, you did.
No, I've never said they got. First of all,
You never did. You're right. You're right, Chuck.
they are great-looking women.
How long did it take her to find those 5 women there?
You know they invented the toothbrush down there.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you how long you.
So it basically keeps going. So I'm going to put that if you guys want to watch it. So he basically just says, like, I didn't call all of them ugly.
I would also like to add that ESPN was that no NBA NBA TV ain't shit for finding random girls at the damn outside the Aeropostale store at the mall and asking and telling them what to say, giving them probably $35 Aeropostale freaking gift cards and telling them to say this. I don't believe that any of those women that they talk to know who the hell Charles Barkley is.
That good looking
I don't know. Well, this is also 2014, so that 2014 vibe was real strong with all them girls that they talked to. But they look like they fell into a Aeropostale Forever 21 mashup and then just never left.
So then we go to my boy Kevin. So Kevin was talking about, stop that from auto playing. So Kevin speaks out about cancel culture. He said, when did we get to the point in our life where we're supposed to be perfect? And he basically talks about he doesn't care anymore and so-called cancel culture, but he certainly has a lot to say. And he says, if somebody truly said something damaging, then absolutely consequences should be attached. When you're just talking nonsense, when you're talking, someone said they need to be taken down, he said, shut the F up. What are we talking about? When did we get to the point in life where we're supposed to be perfect, where people were supposed to operate perfectly all the time? I don't understand. I don't expect perfection from my kids. I don't expect perfection from my wife, from my friends, and my employees. But last time I checked, the only way you grow up is from messing up. I don't know a kid that hasn't messed up or done some dumb stuff in their life. And, he basically just goes on to say that it's just dumb, and according to comedians like himself, he said that a lot of comedians are holding back due to fear of being canceled and things of that nature. So
I remember when comedy was offensive but still funny, and it's just Kevin Hart is really a really good vehicle for this because he became America's sweetheart, and I mean he worked hard to get there, get to the point where everybody loved him, and then people started bringing up some old jokes he used to make back in the day when he wasn't as, popular. And I'm like, who freaking cares? It's comedy. Like, who cares? And my issue with cancel culture is people cancel someone for anything and everything. It's not even for like really serious, damaging things. Like, they're not finding out this person is a horrible person or they've done something really horrible. They mostly are just like, harumph, I don't like your take on this, or I don't like that joke because it offends me. Like, I saw there was like a TikTok this girl made about her sister who, I guess she can't have gluten, and every once in a while she's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna have some gluten. So she ate a pretzel and bloated, she got like really bloated and a little like, she just
lethargic.
Yeah, well, she wasn't really lethargic, she just got really bloated, because that happens sometimes for people who can't have gluten. And people were really in the comments under this TikTok talking about, I am celiac and this triggers me. Who gives a shit about your triggers? You decided to sit here and watch this TikTok. You knew what the damn caption said. You knew what the TikTok was about. Take your sensitive ass on someplace.
It's just to a degree, not to a degree, really, the whole cancel culture thing is just people that are, in all honesty, sad and pathetic, that want to ruin other people's lives because they find enjoyment out of, taking people down. And I don't really understand necessarily why that is for some of these people, but there's just a lot of people that, for no other purpose but to do it, will try and take people down. And they'll find anything they can to attack you on whatever vector they can. And they don't believe in half of the stuff that they're trying to champion at that particular point in time. They're just coming after you just to come after you.
Pretty much. They're like 80s girl bullies that are really like, I'm going to destroy you. Like, that's what they make me think of, 80s and 90s girl bullies. It's literally, I'm going to destroy your life brick by brick. They made me think of the Mean Girls. From the movie Mean Girls, like Regina George, where really it's like, and it's, I'm gonna tear your life apart piece by piece. Like, what the hell is up with that? What's the reason?
I don't really know. So basically, and then these two happened before. So Seth Rogen, and I've seen a lot of blue check marks basically do this, and a lot of like lefties say this, where it's basically like, this is consequence culture. It's not cancel culture. Or they try to not talk about all the negativity that comes along with people essentially trying to destroy people's career and livelihood just for the sake of doing it. And they're saying that, well, that's not a thing. Cancel culture isn't a thing. So like you have Seth Rogen here who says comedians should stop whining about cancel culture, saying terrible things is bad. And he basically just regurgitates, you know, whatever Hollywood talking point that you would expect Seth Rogen to regurgitate. And it's highly ironic, which apparently a lot of people did bring up. And then they also talk about Chris Rock, who is also, Chris Rock was actually, funny enough, one of the first people to talk about this. And yeah, so, you know, Seth Rogen basically says you shouldn't complain, you know, when these things happen, because it probably happened for a reason. So like he says, I was never a comedian. I don't think that made jokes that are truly designed to target groups that were subjugated in any way. Again, have we done that without realizing it? Definitely, those things are in our movies and they're out there, and then he says, I'm more than happy to say have not aged well. But no, on my Twitter, I have never made a joke that was outwardly horrific in some way. And if you have, I would question why you do that, say terrible things, and so on and so forth. So in his case, he was talking about everything, but it also got brought up with Twitter, just people making tweets and stuff that specifically that he was talking about. It's just very ironic for someone who's been in the movies that he's been in. His boy.
You mean who makes the movies that he's made?
That's true.
Because he was I believe he wrote that movie, the one that, you know, North Korea was like, you put this movie out, we gonna mess y'all up. Like, what? Him and James Franco.
Which he's not boys with anymore because of the accusations that came out for James Franco.
Oh, wow, he left James high and dry? Yeah, James made him a lot of money.
Yeah, he left that boy James high and dry.
Wow, James made him a lot of money.
So the article then shows some different tweets of people, things that they're not like the worst things in the world. It's just him being an ass.
Seth Rogen has a really bad habit of being an asshole to people on Twitter. Like, honestly and truly, he has a really bad habit of being an asshole to people on Twitter. Like, I've seen where random he sent that to Seth. Oh, never mind.
No,
Ben Carson.
He said Ben Carson.
For a minute, I was
Ted Cruz.
It's like he really
Marco Rubio.
He called Marco Rubio a fascist. What are we doing right now? Like, this man Seth Rogen has a history of, even in his own Twitter threads, where random like people, fans and things like that, will interact with him and he'll be dicks to them, and I'm just like at this point, I'm well aware Seth Rogen is a jackass. But I think I knew that before this point. But it's just wild. Like, he's basically someone who's trying to avoid the masses in terms. Yeah, he doesn't want to get canceled. All. But I'm like, sir,
they're gonna come for you.
Let's not bring up movies like Superbad. Let's not talk about Knocked Up, or let's not whatchamacallit, This Is the End, which was arguably one of the pretty much his best work. But was This Is the End. Like, let's not do that. This man's, I guess, trying to clean up his act now or whatever, but I don't know.
So then Chris Rock, they talk about Chris Rock, and Chris Rock basically said he's seen a lot of funny things, TV shows, award shows, movies, because everybody's scared to make a movie. That's not a place to be. We shouldn't have the right to fail. We should have the right to fail, because failure is part of art. So,
I mean, Chris Rock would say something like this, because Chris Rock been saying wild ass shit his entire career, his entire comedic career. Mm-hmm. I feel like Seth Rogen, like, how they're always like, you shouldn't have an opinion on this because you're not living this, or you're not like you're not black, so you shouldn't talk about this. I feel like Seth Rogen really shouldn't enter this conversation, because he is not a comedian, and he was not ever a comedian. So maybe he should stay in his lane.
Apparently. And then, so you do have a comedian. Katt Williams, he went on the Joe Budden podcast. When was this? June 5th. So again, before a lot of this other stuff came out, he just was on the Joe Budden podcast, and just talking about his movie that he's going to be in, which is the sequel to the Mike Epps movie, the House Next Door, Meet the Blacks. Remember that?
Yeah, it's basically Mike Epps, his hand at being Marlon Williams. So
yeah. So they asked, where do you stand? Button asked, where do you stand on comics' ability to be comics without judgment and repercussions from cancel culture? And he replied, now mind you, this is Variety, so to them this is very fitting. His replies, some of the things are for the benefit of everything. Nobody likes the speed limit, but it's necessary. Nobody likes the shoulder of the road, but it's there for a reason. My point is, people weren't all that extremely funny back when they could say whatever they want to say. At the end of the day, there's no cancel culture. Cancellation doesn't have its own culture. So, mind you, I don't know if any of you have seen a Katt Williams stand up.
Oh man!
And the types of crap that he was saying, and how Katt Williams was really situationally funny. Shawni's reading ahead. So
yeah, my thing with my problem with Katt Williams here is he's talking about how, like, you know, about changing your language and whatever, and I'm like, Katt Williams, part of what made me feel like Katt Williams was not always really funny, like watching his stand-ups, was he was just always cussing so much. Like the joke would get lost in the constant cursing, and say you're watching him on Comedy Central.
Oh yeah, you miss half the show.
You miss half the damn joke because he's always just cursing. This is also a man who glorified pimp culture. Like,
yes, he made his career off of being a pimp, a fake pimp,
quote unquote, being a pimp. So what are we doing right now? Ain't the same man who roughed up a Target employee?
Yeah,
when
he slapped up that Target. When he was on coke.
Oh Lord, I just, it's really funny because I know what he's doing. I know he's basically now trying to clean up his act so he can get more jobs
and get back into it.
You have a lot of people that feel very sympathetic for him and want to see him shine and see him do better. But I'm like, this isn't aligning yourself with these foolish notions of there isn't a cancel culture out there isn't going to make you that more likable.
Yeah. And again, it's just like I said, there are people, and this comes from Twitter and Tumblr, because in reality, a lot of the old Tumblr people that we talk shit about in 2014 and stuff made their way to Twitter when the porn stopped being a thing on Tumblr. So that's why you see a lot of those people there now with their really bad attitudes. But they just revel in the fact of taking people down. And there is a culture around doing that. And I mean, I know why a lot of these, like, because you'll see down here where it's a lot of Hollywood people that come down and they're like, you know,
a lot of blue check mark
people, and you know, that are just like, yeah, I get it, yeah, he makes the point, it makes it simple. No, like, in order to be a good comic, you have to be able to have the leeway to take a risk in your joke. Every 2 minutes, Dave Chappelle is getting canceled for his recent stand-ups because he'll say some wild things. There was a running joke in one of them where it was a rape joke where he was just constantly like bringing it up. It was a running theme in that whole stand-up. And it's, you know, when you go to a comedy show, you have to understand that you might hear some really offensive stuff. Why go to the comedy show if you're gonna complain? I forgot who it was that said there was a lady that got up and started yelling at them. It was some comedian. This lady got up and started yelling at them about how what they were saying was offensive, and he told them they can leave.
Wasn't that Dave Chappelle?
That might have been Dave Chappelle. I
feel like that was Dave Chappelle who went off on them. I feel like that was Dave Chappelle.
It might have been.
Happened to. I think he was performing at like a college. Wasn't it? And
no, it was a regular spot, I think.
Oh, okay. No.
I'll see if I can find
there
it.
was.
I'll see if I can find it. I don't think I can.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so, just to sum it up, a lot of these people, there is a thing of cancel culture. People do go around specifically targeting people. They went after the guy that made Five Nights at Freddy's not too long ago because apparently he's a Trump supporter. I think he's a Christian. So like
it was like first he was because he's a Christian, and then after that it was just kind of
no. They found it was basically all at once.
Oh, okay.
So like they basically tried to get him canceled, and I mean I think I saw some things that some other stuff happened, and he might have lost some things. I don't know. I gotta further look into that. But Five Nights at Freddy's came out like 3 years ago.
It was
4.
It's been longer than that.
Like
Five Nights at Freddy. I think Freddy's was like 2014.
2016, I think. 2015.
2015?
Yeah,
It was 2014,
2016.
2015, somewhere in that area.
I don't think so.
2014.
God damn.
I don't know. Listen to me, man.
Oh, jeez.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they came after him because for donating to the Trump campaign and stuff. That is, it's the stupidest thing ever, and they'll specifically target. And it doesn't matter how long ago you do it. If you're minding your business, they just revel in doing that to get you out of the way. So it's less of people like you or think like you in whatever industry you're in. Power politics. They always talk about it. They always talk about power. There you go. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. That's basically our thoughts on it, and it's just like I said, it's just funny that Katt Williams, who made his career off of being offensive, and Seth Rogen, who made movies all being offensive.
It's another person who made his career off of being offensive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So just please, I don't want to hear it from those two. So basically, yeah, we're wrapping up here. Like, comment, and subscribe. I got the Odyssey and the BitChute account in the description if you want to get off of YouTube. I got a Minds in there too as well. I need to use my Minds more. But yeah, so everything's in the description. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day or night or whenever you're listening to this. Bye.
See ya.